So, ma'am, first off, the sweep event. What's the sweep event all about, and how will this help women's sports and sports na rin po in general during this napakatagal na pandemic?
Siguro, Bong, we can start from the beginning of how sweep was conceived. Kasi first of all, I was an athlete for the national team. I was the team captain of the women's national dragon boat team back in 2005, and in which case we won the gold medal. And so, interestingly, after my sporting career as a competitive athlete, I was also involved with the Philippine Olympic Committee, fulfilling certain functions in committees like the Women's Sports Commission, like the Olympic Academy, or even the Membership Commission. And then I was also appointed as the first executive director of the Philippine Sports Commission during the Aquino administration. But after my stints in sports, I was taken in a program in the United States. It was a program under the then State Department Secretary Hillary Clinton. It was like a parang program where they had to nominate or get candidates from different countries. Thankfully, I made it. It was the Global Sports Mentoring Program, which is Women in Sports Leadership program. And there, I think it really opened my eyes to the state of women in sports. Because sadly, in the Philippines, we are so used to the male-dominant culture. Even in the national team, they would usually give priority to training or giving exposures for the male athletes, and the women usually are second choice. So sadly, I thought it was normal, but going abroad really opened my eyes. And coming back, the commitment was to also institute programs. So you don't go to a program and not bring back something to the country. And that's exactly what I did. We did our first projects, like I chose a Muslim school. Interestingly, PSC Commissioner Celia Kiram was part of that. So our friendship has really gone far back. And ever since then, we've been doing these programs for women in sports. At the same time, understanding what the issues were that could be preventing women and girls from engaging in sports. As you know, women in sports has a lot of advantages. Studies have shown gives them positive outlook, makes them less prone to risky behaviors, gives them a leg up in life to be more successful. So knowing that, and knowing that sport is an educational tool, then why can't we give opportunities for women and girls to participate? So during the program, for the programs that we've been doing towards it, I realized that hindi pala sapat na pinalaro mo yung bata, train mo yung teacher, especially the teachers and coaches, because there are unique aspects in training women and girls. But then again, you have to understand that it takes an ecosystem. It takes the community. It takes enablers. It takes other aspects to be in place in order to get that woman and girl into sport. And that's why, as an evolution of just meeting out sport clinics and whatever outreach, is to also provide for that ecosystem components. And what are they? Aside from the training, sports training, you could talk about, okay, then how do I perform sport for community activities, right? Because it all starts with also sport participation. It also is important that you have research components, because then how do we know we're doing the right thing? How can we measure that we're successful at what we do? Do we actually know what is the benchmark to say that, yes, we are successful in getting a woman and girl in sport? And then what are the policies that we could use to push forth this agenda? So, and finally, we could also talk about careers and entrepreneurship, because there are careers in sports, there are opportunities for sport entrepreneurship. What are they? And so it's quite ambitious, because we really try to cover as much room as possible. aside from that is even deciding how to deliver these lessons and how to gather these people in this platform. So considering that a virtual sport conference has not been done in the country, we felt that, well, if this is what's happening outside, then can we deliver it? Well, not just for Filipinos, but for the rest of the world. But decidedly for the benefit of the Filipino, which is the main target anyway. So what
Sige
makes
po, ma'am.
this sweep different, aside from the things I've stated? So because of the pandemic, you will see reports that say that all the more if women and girls have already been marginalized before, then it's much more so now. Despite the fact that the UN or the Olympics would even say, no, we need sports so that we can come back better, or that we need sports because it is still going to be invaluable whether in a COVID situation or not. That's why the components of the training here are also intentional in showing what can be done in a new normal situation. And we have so many speakers from sport entrepreneurs, from like USA volleyball coaches who will show you protocols, who will show you how it's done. We have virtual sports competitions performed by certain NSAs like Muay Thai and rowing. And we have a Cebuana who's been doing duathlons, which she, by the way, just started during the pandemic. So all of these are also very intentional because I think, like you, we were so heartbroken. But thank goodness for people like them who went above and beyond and innovated. And another thing that we are very proud of is we want to launch the best PE endemic, the best pandemic program. Thankfully, it's energized by Milo. Milo believes that we should herald our PE educators because they went, again, above and beyond duty and connectivity to deliver and to keep our communities and children playing.
Well, here in Metro Manila, women's sports is slowly being accepted na rin naman po. Especially
Yes,
women's
yes,
volleyball.
yes.
Of course,
Mm-mm-mm.
women's volleyball is super sikat. Mas sikat pa sila sa men's volleyball. And of course, the women's basketball league just turned pro.
Yes, yes,
But
yes.
in
Yes,
the
yes, yes.
provinces po, how can women's sports evolve in the provinces? Because
I see.
sa province po, we still have that mindset of a girl should do this, boys should do this. Parang napaka-prevalent po
That's
nung
right.
kababae mong tao, ganun. So, paano po
Oh my gosh,
mababago
that's so true.
yung saying na
That's so
kababae
true.
mong tao, ba't ka nagbabasketball, ganun? Kababae mong tao, ba't ka
Oo.
nagpo-football?
To answer your question about, okay, then what do we do to the provinces? That's a very good question. Now, that's why part of the sweep will have to show all these women sports leaders. They're out there. If you want to improve the participation of women and girls in sport and in sport leadership positions, then we have to make them visible. We have the likes of Akiko Thompson, who's now the president of the Olympians Association. We have Mikey Cojuangco, who is not only the first Filipina, but the first Filipino to make it to the executive board of the IOC. Diba? We have Ada Milby, the first Filipina and the first Filipino to go to the World Rugby Council. Why don't people ever talk about that? They're there and they're Filipinas. And we should be proud of that. We have Hidilyn Diaz, and Hidilyn, again, the most the most successful so far of any Filipino or Filipina to reach this far. So she'll be there as well. So every time we see these women figures, then we start to see this as the normal. And if we can reach the provinces and they will see, oh, it is possible. I mean, women can, then we've done our job.
How important is representation po? Because young girls can see, for example, makita nila sa edad ko nung bata ako, nakita ko si Mikey Cojuangco, nag-equestrian. Girls right now can see Hidilyn Diaz. Parang they can see someone that looks like them perform in the sport. How important is it for young
Yes,
women to see that?
it is very important because it's like Kamala Harris, diba? Now Kamala Harris is the VP. the vice president. So now, any girl who said, hey, I can do that too. But you know what? What's important also is to educate the coaches. Coaches are the teachers, are the respected adults of these children. If you can already impact them, then they impact a lot of children. So regardless if they never saw Mikey or they never saw Akiko, but this coach, man or woman, men who are gender sensitive will say, yes, women should play too. We will never allow a situation where it's 70% male and 30% women. No, there should be a situation where it's almost close to 50-50. Malaking bagay po ang nagagawa ng teacher and coach who are imbibed with these values. So it has to, like I said, Bong, it has to come from as an ecosystem. Because it's like the national team, and they'll tell you, oh, bakit ka natalo? Dahil ba kulang ng suporta? But the support will never be enough. And it is just one component of the entire ecosystem to bring a Hidilyn Diaz all the way to the Olympics. It needs good training. It needs a community that's behind her. It needs supportive parents. Diba? It needs nutrition. It needs good mental health. Diba? Parang all of those matter. And if hindi man umabot yung pera, kunyari kulang, importante man, there are other aspects naman that we could also target.
Ma'am, for 2020, because 2020 talagang wala pong sports eh. PBA lang yung nakagawa ng sports. So, but 2021, there are two women's leagues that will play, WNBL and PVL. How optimistic are you that women's sports will be the focus this year? Because WNBL and PVL will hold their first professional seasons this summer.
Maybe there's a good opportunity because people still like to watch sports, right? And if you provide content, I think there could be a chance. Besides, when I was able to watch certain women's games abroad, I had the fortune of watching the FIFA World Cup for women during the elimination rounds, and I look around me, and there were actually men in the audience. And I asked them, so do you really enjoy watching women sports and being men? Yes, we do. And how so? Why so? Well, as long as we could see that the women are very skillful, strong, and competitive, we like to watch that as well. So the WNBL also has a big responsibility to also deliver that content that will make it appealing to the audience. Now, I was also able to watch the WNBA in the US. Again, I look at the crowd. It's a very different crowd. Whereas probably in the NBA, you'd see more men. I see watching WNBA families. It's all about a nice, happy, relaxing experience for the family, bringing their babies, bringing their grandparents. So we have to understand what types of audiences we can attract to watch women in sports. And of course, media has a big role to play. Again, by showing more of it, you normalize it.
Right now, who do you think is the most influential athlete, male or female, that can help women's sports in general here in the Philippines?
I can't point to one athlete. In fact, if you will see the roster of speakers, there are so many. Maybe in the football world, bagamat hindi tayo maka-football, but I think say her name in the football world, maybe Belay, or in volleyball sila Charo, or in basketball sila Coach Heidi. I think in their own worlds, meron yan eh. Go to jiu-jitsu, it's Meggy, or it's Annie Ramirez. So I would influence that perhaps in your own community, be that role model for your community. Because it's impossible naman to also target everyone. Sabihin na natin, even Akiko Thompson might be more effective for the swimming community. So be that. But what's important, Bong, also, no? What's important also is not just in athletic positions, but in technical, referee, coaching positions, women leaders have to be there.
And speaking of referees, do you see the PBA hiring more women referees? Because right now they have two. Before three, but yung isa is, I think she became the head referee of three on three basketball here in the Philippines. So, do you see the PBA hiring more female refs?
You know, for the sake of the PBA, they should. I think if you have a more diverse organization, a diverse makeup of the pool will enable that organization to be more proactive, will generate more ideas. So, by the way, to hire a woman, it's not just because it's a pity card, okay?
Mm-mm.
We're not telling you please hire a woman, but we just want you to see us as being capable. That's all we ask, because at the end of the day, we still have to prove that we're capable. But probably not like before, that you have to show that you're 3 times capable before they even look at you. Diba? So yun lang. Don't give us the pity card either, but please see us as a capable individual.
Ma'am, it's a good thing na because, well, sinabi rin ni Com Willie to before na the referees they brought to the bubble are the top performing referees they had. So, yung dalawang referee na babae doon is kasama nila sa bubble 2020.
The galing. I think having a good, like I said, a good diversity enhances the organizational capability, uh, the I think it's gonna be good managerially. Mahirap na laging puro lalaki nag-iisip, diba? Baka you need some other points of view. And if you're open to it, then I think the organization will be better as a whole. Look at how corporations operate. They know that they cannot be diverse. They know that they have to be inclusive. And the sport organizations are not so far behind. The advantages that you see in the corporate world can also be had in a sport organization. It's almost the same. It's a people organization at the end of the day.
We have two female Olympians, both boxers, Irish Magno and Nesty Petesio. Ma'am, how do you see them? What do you think? What are their chances for a gold or maybe silver?
Wow, I can't make predictions, but you know what? If the training is there, the support is there, the talent is there, if the components, all the components that you try to make better are there, then there's really a big chance. Let us throw our support also, because there's nothing better for an athlete than to feel that her whole country is behind her. I think that's the least we can do. When we were national athletes, Bong, biro mo, tapikan ka lang, uy, galingan mo ah. Okay, pinakain kami. Or, they pray for you. Ang laking bagay. Napakasarap maging Philippine athlete pag ganun ang bansa mo behind you.
Ma'am, follow up on that. Do you think there's pressure for them? Well, you've been there before. You've carried the flag. Do you think anong klaseng pressure ang meron sa kanila, especially Tokyo?
Oh, for sure. Everybody goes to the competition hoping they would win, right? You don't go to the you don't go to the competition. Ay, matatalo naman ako eh. Hindi. Everybody has hopes to win. We just, I think internally they just have to know that they did their best. At kung maramdaman naman natin yan, whatever medal they get, second, third, or wala, we should be proud of them just the same. Pag uwi nila, dapat salubong pa rin. Hindi po madali maging atleta. Talagang literally blood, sweat, and tears. Kala nila, dali-dali manalo. Napakahirap po, no? So, we wish them the best. What maybe in the future, we can build up on their successes. We realize that, hey, we're competitive pala in boxing. And hopefully, there will be so much more candidates. Pagpunta doon, hopefully, may isang makakuha, makasungkit ng isang medal, right? So they have good chances. I think in the Philippines we should be better with the ones with weight category. Kasi 60 kilos ka, 60 kilos siya eh. Kaya naman tayo 60 kilos, right? I have to say mas may chances tayo sa ganun eh. That's why, where are we successful in? Boxing, right? Where else are we successful? Probably martial arts. Kasi
Martial
weight
arts po.
category yan. Or Hidilin. Hidilin, I think one of her strategies is really to go to a certain weight level na medyo komportable naman siya, na probably it's not as maraming, you know what I'm saying? Kasi ano yan eh, weight yan eh. At least at that point, patas na tayo eh.
Kasi hindi naman tayo matatangkad.
Exactly. Sad to say, there are some sports that are still a height game. Now, if you don't have the height, ano naman ang strategy mo? Meron naman din, di ba? But it's still gonna be hard. It's a matter of strategy and knowing where your strengths are. I remember the SEA Games in Malaysia. They had a very good buzz line. Eh. It takes a nation to bring a champion, to raise a champion. And I really believe that. And so for Philippine sports, if we really want to see a good Philippine sports, it really starts with us. It starts with us saying sport is important. Tatangkilikin ko yan. Bibili ako sa mga companies who sponsor sports. Dadalhin ko yung anak ko sa isang sport program. Diba? All of that. It really is with us. Whether you're a taho vendor or you're a corporate guy, support Philippine sports. Believe that it can work and we can achieve that success that we want.
Ayun po, ma'am. Maraming salamat po, ma'am. Thank you for the insight and of course, more power to women's sports.